In progress.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the meeting this afternoon. My name is Brittany. I will be your Spanish interpreter. To assist those who cannot understand English, I will repeat the instructions in Spanish on how to access the appropriate channel. Muy buenas tardes, bienvenidos a la cuenta. Mi nombre es Brittany y será un placer de servirles aquí como su intérprete. Les invito a que por favor seleccione el canal de español y la manera de hacerlo. Usted va a ubicar los tres puntitos en la parte inferior de su pantalla o tal vez el icono terráqueo. Por favor, haga clic. Por favor, seleccione el canal español. Y por favor, seleccione done o finalizar. Si tiene alguna problema técnica, déjenos saber y aquí con gusto le podemos tratar de asistir. Muchísimas gracias y disfruten. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome again to Supervisor Barger's weekly Altadena Community Meeting for Eaton fire survivors. We have a few short presentations and then we will answer questions that have been pre-submitted by community members. Zoom attendees may submit questions in real time using the question and answer function on your screen. Agency representatives are on this Zoom meeting live. Please note that questions submitted on the YouTube live chat will not be answered. So please, if you're seeing the screen, you can scan the QR code and submit your question live via the Zoom platform. And we will do our best to get to all the questions that have been submitted. Our first speaker is going to be Supervisor Kathryn Barger.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us for today's community meeting. There have been a few conversations circulating in the community that I want to address this afternoon. First, I know there has been a strong reaction to the LA Times article published last week about the evacuations and tragic loss of life in West Altadena. These concerns are valid. I know there are a lot of questions still unanswered about what happened the night of January 7th that led to such profound loss. It is a complex issue and requires a lot of nuance, but I know that that does not take away from the fact that there are real and valid feelings. You all deserve clear answers. Within the first month after the fire, I directed an independent evaluation outside the county to find out exactly what happened. The results of that evaluation should be available in the next few months. I understand you need some clarity now. That's why I've asked LA County Fire Chief Anthony Maroney to address you all directly this afternoon. I also want to address the concerns I've seen on social media as a result of a viral video alleging that there are squatters on some properties in Altadena. We take these concerns very seriously, and I immediately connected with the Altadena Sheriff Station with Captain Marquez to get to the bottom of it. I understand that while this isn't a rampant situation, there were two properties with some unique circumstances. The issue isn't widespread, and I want to keep it that way. The Sheriff's Department is here to share more about measures you can take to keep your property safe, as well as the efforts that are underway to prevent this from becoming an issue. Additionally, I want to acknowledge questions I've seen online about where the funds raised by fire aid were used. With any philanthropic funding, we want to ensure they're being utilized well and are directly meeting the needs of our residents. I'm glad to share that all of the funding the county received went directly into the community and into the hands of residents and businesses through grants. I've promised to be transparent about how the county's share of those funds are allocated. $2.4 million went to rebuild the playgrounds and fund murals at Loma Alta Park. $400,000 went to park summer camps for Altadena children. $2.5 million went to round one of the Household Relief Fund. $2.5 million went to grants for workers affected by the fire. $2 million went to the Small Businesses Relief Fund. And $1 million went to grants for arts and culture workers. And in round two, we received an additional $2 million for the Worker and Small Business Relief Fund, which will be released tomorrow. Getting these resources into your hand continues to be a priority. As any funds continue to become available, please know that I am committed to ensuring we do right by residents and get those dollars where they are needed the most. On that note, I also wanted to briefly mention that Southern California Edison is launching its wildfire recovery compensation program. This will provide direct payments to eligible community members impacted by the Eaton fire, including renters. I want to emphasize that, including renters and those with insurance. The program will launch this fall, and further details regarding eligibility will be available by the end of summer. In the meantime, you can visit sce.com/direct claims updates for more information. And lastly, I also wanted to share that the state, through Cal EPA, who's been an incredible partner, and the Department of Toxic Substances Control, will soon be releasing guidance on soil remediation. While we are still awaiting the final details, my hope is that this guidance will empower the California Department of Insurance to compel insurance companies to provide meaningful support for residents facing the overwhelming cost of soil testing and remediation. I'll continue to share information as I have it, and I have invited representatives from the state to join us in the next week or two to share further details with all of you. Thank you for being here this afternoon and for your continued engagement on these important issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. And our first presentation is a special video message recorded specifically for today's meeting from Los Angeles County Fire Chief Anthony Maroney.
I appreciate this opportunity to share a message directly with Eaton fire victims and survivors. I'm speaking to you not only as your County of Los Angeles Fire Chief, but also as someone who has seen firsthand the devastation the Eaton fire caused. The last 6 months have been very difficult and traumatic. As you search for answers and solutions, you deserve direct and factual information. Last week, you may have read a Los Angeles Times article titled, "As West Altadena Burned, County Fire Trucks Stayed Elsewhere." I want to address that article directly. The County of Los Angeles Fire Department fully acknowledges that the Eaton fire was a tragic and unprecedented event. As previously stated in the Wednesday, January 8th LA Times article, I acknowledged that our firefighters were overwhelmed and outgunned by these deadly firestorms. It wasn't just a wildfire. It became a community conflagration, tearing through Altadena at a speed and scale never before seen in Los Angeles County. The scope of the Eaton fire was catastrophic, tragically claiming the lives of 19 people, destroying or damaging over 10,000 structures, and leaving residents without loved ones, neighbors, homes, and livelihoods. To have a fire engine positioned on every block, at every home, in the affected area would have taken thousands of fire engines, far beyond the combined fleets of 1,000 fire departments. Our department only has a total of 163 frontline engines that are staffed daily. Ahead of the January wildfires, we staffed every available reserve engine and firefighting patrol, and we held over the off-going shift of firefighters. We augmented staffing and pre-deployed strike teams due to the extreme red flag weather forecast before any fires began on Tuesday morning. The LA Times article, while raising important questions, provides an incomplete picture of what happened on the ground. It does not reflect the unprecedented multi-agency response that was taking place during the Eaton fire. Within the first 12 hours of the Eaton fire, at least 20 additional firefighting agencies were operating, providing engines, vehicles, and personnel working alongside our County of Los Angeles firefighters and crews. Our law enforcement partners, sheriff's deputies, were also on scene, evacuating and rescuing residents, work not captured in data tables or maps. The article heavily emphasizes the County of Los Angeles Fire Department's automatic vehicle locator data. However, that data does not and cannot show the full scope of emergency operations at the Eaton fire, as some of our vehicles are not equipped with AVL. Additionally, some of those AVL units were not transmitting properly because cell towers in the Eaton fire area lost power. Reporting on County of Los Angeles Fire Department AVL data alone does not capture the contributions of outside firefighting agencies or the actions of law enforcement. I want to be clear, I am not here to withhold information or diminish the terrible loss of life and property that occurred at both the Eaton and the Palisades fires. I remain committed to a complete and transparent accounting of my fire department's response and my actions to improve how we respond as a fire department and fire service in the Los Angeles area in the future. This is why the County of Los Angeles Fire Department is fully participating in the independent after-action reviews being conducted by both the county and the state, and those findings will be shared publicly. To those who have questioned whether more could have been done, I want to assure you that I have heard numerous accounts from firefighters and law enforcement officers on scene that night who have described rescues and how they did all they could to protect lives and property. Even with the accounts of triumph, I am committed to looking for lessons learned to improve our emergency services and make this department better. I stand firmly behind the men and women of the County of Los Angeles Fire Department and our partner fire agencies who deployed every possible resource in the face of this extraordinary disaster, always displaying unparalleled courage and commitment. As we move forward, the County of Los Angeles Fire Department's commitment is to continue serving and safeguarding the Altadena community and its residents through improved response and community engagement. Thank you.
We will now segue to our next presentation. We have an update on debris removal work by U.S. Army Corps of Engineer Colonel Sunny Avishal.
Good afternoon, everyone, and Supervisor, thank you for allowing me to give an update. And this is actually going to be my last update. I do have a replacement who is coming in. He'll be here this week, and he'll probably give the update next week. So just for awareness, 5,634 have opted into the program, and then about just a little over 500 who have opted out. In terms of those that we have cleared, so 5,566 or 98.8%, we have cleared the fire ash debris from those properties. And then in terms of returning those rights of entry back to the county, we're at 5,471 or 97.1%. So again, we're still making steady progress. Inching along at this very last part, but I think in the next couple of weeks, you'll start seeing those numbers go up as well. We also have 14 debris removal crews operating right now in Eaton. We continue to make progress at the Altadena Golf Course. We are currently demobilizing from that site, and we are actively speaking to the County Parks and Recreation about the restoration plan going forward. Again, the demobilization will take another probably 2 weeks or so, and then we'll transition directly into restoration, which will take a few months as we move forward. But again, we're committed to restoring that facility to a fully functioning golf course as it was when we first arrived, and turn that into a TDSR. And then Elliott School, it remains on schedule. Again, this is a complex operation. If you drive up Lake, you'll be able to see it front and center right there. It should last until about mid to late September, that project in particular. And so with that, I will give my final update here. I just want to say thank you for the partnership and thank you to the community for all your support. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Colonel. And you mentioned an acronym, TDSR. Would you just remind us what that stands for?
Yep, so sorry about that. Temporary debris staging and reduction site, that's essentially where we were doing, reducing the size of the concrete, steel, and vegetative debris.
Fantastic. Thank you, Colonel. That alphabet soup is always a challenge, but we truly appreciate all your contributions during this video series. Next, we'll have a
Thank you.
presentation on debris removal, on rebuilding, and that is spearheaded by Public Works, and we have the update delivered by Assistant Deputy Director Kiara Barnett.
Great, thank you for that introduction and the opportunity to provide an update for permit progress this week. We could go to the next slide, please. We do continue to see progress across all phases of permitting, plan checks and approvals. So a screenshot from today shows that 1,212 rebuild applications have been received by Los Angeles County. Planning received the applications and a review for what is proposed and where on a site. And this number includes all permit types, which are defined below the top tiles here with a pie chart. And then includes new single-family homes, accessory dwelling units, garages, accessory structures, multifamily applications, and non-residential or commercial properties. There's one application that's submitted per property to planning, and planning have cleared 819 zoning reviews. Then when full building plans are prepared and submitted, detailing how a structure is proposed to be built, then a project moves into the building plan review stage and is reviewed at the same time by all of the other permitting departments. 707 plan reviews are in progress, and at this stage, separate permits are created for each structure on a site, but the applicant does not need to file any additional applications. So including all permit types, 120 permits have been issued in the Altadena area to date. For new residential projects only, we've provided additional information on where projects are within the review process, and I will cover that more on the next slide. As a whole, sorry, not quite yet, we'll get to the next slide in a minute, but for as a whole, we've been averaging 58 business days from initial submittal to permit issuance for new residential projects. This includes the time it takes the designers to create and submit the full building plans, and the time the plans are reviewed, and also the designers are revising their plans to incorporate plan review comments. The goal is to reduce this overall timeline for rebuilds, and the county is working with designers to accelerate all steps of the process. We remain committed to expediting approvals, and our commitment is that rebuild projects will be reviewed in 10 business days for the initial review and 5 business days for any additional reviews. And now if we could go to the next slide, please. So added to that dashboard this week is a new building plan stages graphic, which you saw on the right-hand side of the permit progress dashboard screen. This graph helps tell the story of how many applications are in each step of the permitting process every week, which helps track our progress and make sure timelines are being met. This data is updated weekly and includes new residential projects only, which means single-family homes, accessory dwelling units, and multifamily units. So far, more than 200 projects have been reviewed and are back with the designers for review or for revisions. 53 were submitted but did not have the full design package needed for review. 84 projects are in initial review, and 34 have been revised by the designers and are back in for a re-review and confirmation of edits. Finally, 30 plans are approved pending clearances, such as a will serve letter, which is required for rebuilds from the water purveyor, and 22 are ready to issue pending the applicant. An applicant might still be working on securing financing or selecting a contractor or builder prior to pulling the permits and starting construction. And if we can move to the next slide, please. So now to another update, a list of contractors and licensed design professionals who have indicated that they're available to work on rebuilding projects has been added to the LA County Recover's website. The contractors and professionals appearing here are licensed in their respective fields, and they've volunteered to share their information and again, willingness to work in the Fireburn area on rebuilds. So Los Angeles County and the Contractor State Licensing Board do not endorse or recommend any contractor or licensed professional listed, And we have included some tips on the website for how to select a design professional or a contractor. We also posted a recording of a past Rebuilding Together workshop on how to engage a design professional. And we'll similarly host a session on working with contractors. Importantly, interested professionals can request to be included on the list by filling out an e-form linked on the webpage. And if we could go to the next slide, please. As we continue to refine and improve our LA County Recovers website, I do reference it for different topics here, but I wanted to take a moment and just run through a few of the resources, updates, and other information available to you so you know where to find information on the website for your rebuild. So on the LA County Recovers website, which is located at recovery.lacounty.gov, you'll see two lists drop down when you hover over the rebuilding link in the top blue bar. One is resources and one is permitting. The resources section, which you can see some examples of here on the screen, has all the resources, tools, videos, and other content that can help you learn more about the permitting process and requirements you'll need to know as you rebuild. And if we could go to the next slide, please. On the permitting side of the rebuilding page, we have a list of all the permitting related information and methods you need to know about as you rebuild. This is where you can find more information about some of the methods and options available to those looking to rebuild effectively and efficiently, such as pre-approved plans, like-for-like rebuilds, a self-certification pilot program, AI-assisted plan reviews, temporary housing, and more. And on this permitting side is where you can also find our permit progress dashboard that I discussed early in the slides. And if we could go to the final slide, please. Aside from regularly visiting the website, one of the best ways to stay informed is to sign up for the LA County Joint Information Center newsletters. This is where you'll be able to get regular alerts and stay informed on recent updates, announcements, new content, etc. So you can scan the QR code on the screen and follow the prompts to sign up for these e-newsletters. You can also find the link on any page on the LA County Recovers website by just scrolling down to the footer, finding the newsroom section, and clicking on email or text updates. And so thank you for having that QR code up on screen. And that concludes my updates for today. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Kiara. We will now pivot to our next presentation, addressing law enforcement issues, including RV enforcement and information on trespassing prevention. We have with us out from the Altadena Sheriff Station, Acting Captain Eaton Marquez.
Thank you very much. Can we, here we go. There's my PowerPoint. First thing I'd like to kind of mention is that if you're not already following us on social media, please follow us on social media. Anytime there's any kind of response or any kind of posts, any kind of rumors that go around in the community, we will address those concerns fairly quickly if we know about them on social media. But back in January, we really started to brainstorm about the issues that are going to start occurring into the future after the post-fire. And I really knew that squatting, trespassing would be an issue. So I developed this video that we're going to play shortly to really address those concerns and things that the community can do to remedy them or mitigate them. And I'm going to talk a little bit about after the video about some of the things we've been able to do and involve the community and different nonprofits to help us out with that. But if we can go ahead and play the video. Due to the unprecedented Altadena Eaton fire, our community suffered the devastating loss of many homes. In response to this tragedy, we are compelled to find innovative and cost-effective solutions, not only to help protect the remaining properties, but also support the residents during the rebuilding process. Hello, my name is Eaton Marquez. I'm the acting captain of Altadena Sheriff Station. Trespassing is a crime, but did you know there's a powerful tool you can use to help us take action? It's called the letter of agency. The letter of agency gives deputies the legal authority to enter your property and arrest or remove individuals for trespassing, even if you're not there. This letter empowers law enforcement the ability to enforce the law under California Penal Code 602.
allowing for the arrest and prosecution of suspects without delay. Here's what you need to do to protect your property from trespassers, even if your home has been removed and a cleared lot remains. First, install a fence or physical barrier around your property. A 6-foot chain link fence would be ideal. However, we understand that's a costly solution. So we suggest installing a barrier or fence such as this orange 4-foot in height construction fence. This type of fencing is sold in hardware stores or can be purchased online. Second, post visible and no trespassing signs. We suggest no less than 5 signs around your property and illuminate them with solar landscape lights. However, based on your property, you may need to install more. Third, file a letter of agency at Altadena Sheriff Station. This is the final component and legally necessary. It's quick, easy, and effective. You need to bring a valid government-issued identification and a document that shows that you own the property. We will require a cell phone number and address to contact you. If you see any suspicious activity, call 911 or the Altadena Sheriff Station's non-emergent number at 626-798-1131. Your safety comes first. Don't confront trespassers, let law enforcement handle it. This isn't just about security, it's about safety. Partner with us, and together we can keep Altadena safe for everyone.
Thank you very much for sharing that video. That really highlights what residents can do to secure their property. That gives us the ability to enter a property. If there's somebody on that property that shouldn't be there, say like somebody squatting, we can remove them, arrest them for trespassing. There's not really kind of any legal hurdles that you have to go through, except that we have to be notified. And one of the ways to do that is to call us if there's suspicion of squatters, or you're the property owner and you believe somebody's on your property, and we respond. But if we go to the next slide, please. So those are some of the things that, so here's some of the things that you can do. Obviously, we put the orange fencing up. The orange fencing is nice because as the deputies drive by, they can see what's beyond the red orange fencing. If you put up, say, like a chain link fence and it has like a green fabric or a black fabric, it blocks the view from the deputies. It may prevent people from seeing what's beyond that, but it also prevents the deputies to see what's beyond that. So if you're hiding, like if you're doing construction on your property and you're hiding, materials you have in there, well, the deputies won't necessarily be able to drive by. And once we get, hundreds of these, it's going to be difficult for deputies to drive by and see what's going on beyond that. So this just gives the deputies an ability to drive by quickly, see if anybody's there, and then to take action if necessary. The no trespassing signs are there. They have solar landscape lights. Those landscape lights help illuminate the no trespassing sign. And all of those things in combination are there so that when people were to, if they go to court and they say, I didn't know that you couldn't go beyond there. I didn't know that was somebody else's property. These things are all put in place so that as you go to court, a reasonable person would see that and go, no, I'm not supposed to go beyond that fencing. I'm not supposed to be there. There's no trespassing there. Some of the other things that we're doing are parking enforcement of RVs. We don't want a lot of RVs parked on the street. It could develop into homeless encampments, and we don't want that as well. You have 72 hours to move any vehicle off the property. We also don't want storage containers on the area. It blocks the view of cars. It creates a nuisance to the public. It creates traffic hazards. And you have to pull a permit from, I believe it's from LA County Public Works, if you're going to put a storage container on the street. As far as the no trespassing signs, the fencing, we've developed a bunch of community partners. Team Rubicon is going to be one of those. The 5th District Supervisor's Office has also helped us with that. The Altadena Town Council and Altadena Rotary have been an integral part of developing a partnership with Team Rubicon. And the Pasadena Unified School District, is also helping us out with that. But one of the major donors is going to be Lowe's, and it's going to be supplying a lot of donations for the fencing operation because they have enough donations now to put up fencing around 200 properties. And we already have a list through the town council and through Rotary that are going to be figuring out who's going to get that. And they're deciding that right now. And then we're going to be looking towards, once this is successful, getting future donations. to continue this and make it bigger, hopefully. If we can go to the next slide. So some of the community events we have planned, we just had a town hall meeting, a committee conversation that occurred last week. We had Walk with a Cop that already occurred a couple weeks ago. This Saturday we have our national night out at Altadena Park. It's 5 to 8 p.m. We'd like to have everybody come out before the concert. On the 23rd of August, we have the bus pull, and that's a community fundraiser. Teams will be pulling one of our transit buses in a parking lot, and it's just a fun activity. It's just a challenging event, and it's a lot of fun. Everybody has a great time when they're there. And then on January 4th, we're having a mug run. That's what we refer to it as, a mug run, but it's going to be a 5K walk run and a 10K run around the streets of Altadena. And it's going to be a large fundraiser, and we're hoping to get a lot of the running groups from the area to come out and spread the word with us and to join us. And we expect to see a lot of people out for that. And if you're going to be in town, you're going to be available, please. If you're not a runner, you can walk. It's 3.1 miles. It's a 5K. And anyway, that's about all I have.
Thank you very much, Captain Marquez. A quick question for you. This was asked live during the Q&A. If the video is available online from the Sheriff's Department, the one that you just showed?
The video is available online. It's on Instagram and Facebook. You'll have to just go back and look at our history posts, and it's going to be in there.
Okay, thank you very
And
much.
you're welcome
And
to
we'll
share it
circle.
as much as you like.
Perfect. We will circle back if there's any additional questions. We will move on to our last presenter for today. We have with us from the Department of Aging, Program Manager Alex Gonez, who will review some free transportation services and support available for Eaton fire survivors.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to talk to you about our new Freedom Transportation Program here with Aging and Disabilities. So our new Freedom Transportation Program provides on-demand and non-fixed route transportation services. These are our free services that are intended to bridge service gaps, eliminate barriers to public transportation for older adults and the individuals with disabilities, with the goal to be able to improve our clients' overall quality of life by increasing access to community engagement and health and wellness destinations throughout the county. Now, our eligibility for the program is 65 years of age or older, and for adults, it's also available for adults 18 through 64 years old who are living with a disability, either permanent or temporary as well. There are two different aspects to our program. One is the taxi services program, and this part of the program is basically traditional taxi cab services that participants can be eligible for. Rides are available 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It's up to 4 one-way trips or 40 miles per month, whichever one comes first. Folks will get an access card and an ability to call our provider to schedule the rides at the time that they need, their drop-off and pickup times. There are wheelchair accessible vans and ramps that are also available. And the other aspect, or the secondary program that we have, is our volunteer driver mileage reimbursement program. The volunteer mileage reimbursement program is client-centered transportation that basically gives our participants the opportunity to select one or more volunteer drivers for their transportation needs. So basically, the volunteer driver that is selected can include family members, caregivers, neighbors, whoever the participant selects. And the volunteer driver would use their personal vehicle to provide clients with transportation services. At the end of the month, our clients or participants, they can claim up to 150 miles per month in reimbursement for their volunteer drivers. So we'll process that internally for them. Now, for more information on our program, we have a hotline that you could reach out to ask for an application. Our telephone number is 1-888-863-7411. Again, that number is 1-888-863-7411. We also have our email address at newfreedom@ad.lacounty.gov. That is newfreedom@ad.lacounty.gov. And you can reach out via email, via telephone, and we will get an application out to you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. And that's our last presentation for today. We have a few questions. We have one question actually that was pre-submitted before the meeting, and we're going to pivot to that. Here is the question. It says, if I want to build an ADU after the completion of the rebuild of my house and submit both sets of plans at the same time, will I still get the permitting fees waived for the ADU?
Great
Public
question.
Works?
Yeah, I'll start with that one. Thank you. So that is a great question. Thank you for asking for everybody's benefits. But yes, for eligible homeowners rebuilding, permit fees are waived for all structures proposed concurrently as a part of your rebuild. This can include the main house, an accessory dwelling unit, detached garage, pertinent structures, sheds. And you can phase your rebuild by building the house or even the accessory dwelling unit first. But all portions of your rebuilds that were submitted on that plan set will be eligible for the permitting fees waiver.
Thank you very much. We're going to move on to another question that was just submitted. Here's the question. We are converting our garage to an ADU plus rebuilding our main house, like for like. Will the permits be issued on the same timeline? Or will the ADU have to go through a different timeline?
Great. I don't know if planning want to take a stab at that one first. And if they're not on the call, I can confirm again that that can all be that one plan package and it'll go through the same time commitment. So converting your garage to an ADU as part of your rebuild can still apply for like, and the 10 business days for initial review and 5 business day for additional reviews from all the permitting departments.
Thank you. We do have regional planning on.
I have nothing else to add. Kira did it well. Thanks,
Perfect.
Kira.
Okay, very good. Just checking. We had another question. It was answered, but I thought it might be of interest. It was for the Sheriff's Department. Captain Marquez, there was a question about getting on a list. It says, how do we get on the list to obtain the orange fence for our property? Would you mind answering that for the greater audience that's listening?
The lists have been developed based on either they're uninsured property owners, they're low income, and maybe some that are elderly. The Rotary and Town Council have already developed quite large lists, and they're going to have to narrow the number of people down off the list. So they're likely already spoken for, and we're trying to get more donations so we can increase the size. But this has been specifically designed to be something that's not going to that's somewhat low cost in terms of everything else that's going to happen. We specifically tried to make something that didn't break everybody's bank. It's not cheap, but it's not also, we tried to make it cost effective for everybody. And I know that's not always possible, but we were able to just try to design this to help everybody out in the best possible manner, if that makes sense.
Very good. Thank you, Captain Marquez. We're going to switch gears a little bit. We have another question here. It says, I had a neighbor submit a reassess due to calamity form the end of April, and he has not heard back yet. He said he checked in on it in May and was told you were behind. Should he check again or just wait? So this is a question for the assessor's office on that calamity form.
Oh, okay, so we have processed at this point, I believe, about 18,000 misfortune and calamity claims. And most of those were processed based on information that the assessor had received from CAL FIRE. But unfortunately, there were a significant number of properties where we did not have a report from CAL FIRE as to the percentage of damage. And those ones require more research on the assessor's part and in many cases documentation from the property owners. So if you have not heard back from the assessor, by all means contact the assessor to make sure that they have received the claim form, and then also to check on the status of when your claim for reassessment is likely to be processed. You can also reach out to me. My email address at the assessor is mherrera, that's MHERRERA, at assessor.lacounty.gov. And I will include my email in my response to the question, and I will include it in the chat as well. So once again, that's mherrera, MHERRERA, at assessor.lacounty.gov.
Thank you for that. Our next question has to do with tree permitting. Here's the question. When do you anticipate the new oak tree permitting requirements for trimming or removal will be released?
Hello, it's Amy Bodak calling from Regional Planning. I'm going to take a stab at that one. We are doing an update to our oak tree ordinance, and it will include additional flexibility on tree trimming as suggested in that question. We are still in the process of going out and doing community engagement and seeking feedback, so I can drop my email address into the chat, and then I can, if the individual wants to respond to me, I can then forward information on the latest community engagement that we're working on for it. Happy to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question. What is the status of reimbursing permit fees?
Right, I was just answering that one in the chat, and I'll include a link to the form and the webpage for eligibility for permit fees. So planning or receiving all the forms into recovery.lacounty.gov, and they're disseminating them to all the permitting departments who are working on processing refunds. And I would anticipate it would take about 30 days before you'd see that money refunded back to the payee.
Perfect. Thank you for that. I'm sure there's a lot of interest in that. Let's see, we'll take a quick look. There was circling back to the Sheriff's Department, there was a question that got answered, but again, for the greater audience. Captain Marquez, you mentioned a letter and about maybe the possibility of adding the names of contractors. Can you just revisit the concept of that letter? Because the question here was, can we add the name of our contractor to the letter you spoke of?
The letter of agency. So somebody asked me about the letter of agency and can they add the name of their contractor? Because the concern was that we would drive by and we would see somebody on the property and then arrest them. And I think that kind of would go against just common sense if somebody's building something on the property. Just to give you just a framework, the way the deputies are going to look at the situation. But to add a contractor, it's basically you can come down to the station and you can get your letter and you can update it or just submit another one and we'll take the other one out of the system and just update with whoever you'd like to have available on your property. It's the document we can change. It's not a one-time and that stays for a year. You can come back and update the letter as necessary. That's it.
Thank you, sir. All right, we have another question here. I submitted the form for the reimbursement of the permit fee at the Woodbury office. How do I find out if it was submitted and is in process?
Another great question, and I would recommend following up with the Altadena One Stop Permit Center. We will be flagging all the parcels for which the form is received, so that when they call, and actually you should be able to see it in Epic LA yourself. But once that form is received, you should be able to see it uploaded into your application, right, Amy? And then again, we'll be flagging all the properties so all the permitting departments see that.
Yes, and I can also put my email in the chat, and then Dina Perez can send me her address and we can specifically answer her question.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thanks.
Very good. I see an outlying question here also in the chat about the Cal Assist Mortgage Relief Program. So that is a state-led program. If you have a question about that, the supervisor's office can take your question or your inquiry and connect you with the right person at the state. So if you'd like to send an email, just send it to the supervisor's inbox at Kathryn@bos.lacounty.gov. Again, Kathryn@bos.lacounty.gov. And if I can have someone just type in that for the question at 442 from Ed, that will be the last outstanding question that we have to answer for today. So again, thank you everybody for having tuned in. This meeting will be archived and can be viewed again at your leisure on the LA County YouTube channel. Thank you again on behalf of Supervisor Kathryn Barger for tuning in to her weekly Altadena Community Meeting for Eaton Fire Survivors. Thank you for your time and signing off.